Hey everybody, Matt here with the Most Adequate Collection, and for today's video I'm going to provide an update on my last video. I spoke about a Michael Jordan card that I had that I sent off to get signed TTM through the mail back in about 1990 when I was 10 years old. And it's a card that came back signed. I've got it right here. Look at that. Great looking card, great shot, beautiful looking blue signature. But as with most things TTM, the authenticity could be debated. You just don't know. You send a card off, it comes back with some ink on it. You hope it's legit. Most of the time, I'd imagine it is. Some of the times, it might not be. And certainly, I remembered hearing even back then, how some players were doing stamps or having somebody else sign them or other things like that, an auto pen. But I didn't think much of it. So for the last, what has it been, 26 years? 36 years. 36 years I've had this card in my collection. Thought that I had a Michael Jordan autograph and just wasn't sure about it. And as time has gone on, I've done some more research into it, gotten involved in some of the TTM communities online through Facebook and through a couple of message groups. And it has led me to somewhat doubt the authenticity of it. A lot of the chatter of what I've been seeing is that most of those TTM Jordans were Go signed, or secretarial, they also call them. And so I figured mine might fall into that. I kind of had my hopes tempered a little bit. I knew going into it that there was a good chance that it was not legit. But I decided that I wanted to find out for sure, or at least get a better understanding or idea of it. So there is this company online, G.O.A.T Authentics, and what they do is they specialize in authenticating autographs of just 4 athletes. And that would be Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, and Mickey Mantle. And so they give their certification is the same as anyone else's. I think, of course, like most things, a PSA or some of those other grading companies might carry a little bit more weight in the resale market. But what G.O.A.T Authentics will do is for just $10, they will look at it and give their opinion on it. They won't give you any kind of sticker, stamp, case, anything like that. But they'll just look at it and see if they think it's good or if they think it's fake. And so finally, after months of considering it, I finally sent it in. And it came back as not authentic, just as I suspected. Now, was I disappointed in a way? Sure. Just because for so long I thought I had a Michael Jordan autograph. But, I mean, as time has gone on, I've kind of been realistic about it. I heard what other people said. 95% sure it probably was Go signed like a lot of the others back then. But there was just that little hope in the back of my mind that thought maybe I got mine in early enough. Before he started winning all of his championships, before he became the biggest basketball star ever, maybe mine got in early enough before he decided to outsource his signatures. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, which is okay. It changes little about that card in my collection other than what it was to me personally. Now, it was in my display case. Will it be now? Probably not, but it's nothing I'm going to throw away or discard because at the end of the day, it is part of my collection and an important part of it. It's this card that has a story and a history to it with me. This was the card that I, as a 10-year-old boy, sent off to Michael Jordan to get signed. It was the card that was returned to me with ink on it. And while it being ghost signed adds no value to it, if anything, it decreases the value, it still is mine, And so it's not the end of the world, but just kind of wanted to provide an update for that. And an interesting part of it, too, is as anything goes with these authenticating companies, look at the end of the day, it's just one person looking at an item and giving his opinion on it, or her opinion on it, based on what they know. And now, granted, somebody who's looked at 1,000 Michael Jordan autographs would be more of an expert than someone who's looked at 10 of them. But at the end of the day, it's still someone's opinion. So, not intentionally, but I was able to actually kind of put that to the test in a way. Last week, after I posted my video, I'd been texting Jeff from A Fine Card Collector back and forth over the last month or two. He's going to eventually make me some Mac Pro labels, and I sent him a few things, and all that goes. But he kind of wanted to give his opinion on it to me. But it required more than what texting would allow. So, we called each other on the phone. I think he called me. But we arranged time when I'd be available. Now, I'm not going to say that we were on the phone for a long time, but I will say that in that 2-hour conversation, my wife watched the national news, she watched the local news, and she took a nap. So, but time flies when you're having fun, right? But he had an interesting story, too, of his own Michael Jordan autograph. It was a card of a childhood friend of his that his friend, when he was a kid, right around that same time, early 90s, I'd imagine, Michael Jordan in the Chicago area did a basketball summer camp where he was there. It was his name on it, I suppose, and then he was there giving instructions and helping lead different activities and all that. And then at the end of the camp, he would sign autographs, and so you could bring your items. I'm sure there were limitations to it. And I think Jeff said that if it was items similar to today, if it's a more premium item like a basketball or a jersey or something like that, you had to pay a little extra. But for a card, that would be included in my camp fees. But anyways, it was a card that he got signed. He got signed in person. His friend told him the story. It's a friend that he trusts enough that if he says, I got this signed in person, he believes it to be true. And it was a card that his friend eventually sold him. So Jeff has this Michael Jordan autographed card from, I believe, 1991 Upper Deck, signed in black ink. And he, just out of curiosity, put G.O.A.T Authentics to the test, too. So we have a card that we know was signed by Michael Jordan and a card that we think was not. And as fate would have it, the card that is mine, the one that I was pretty sure was G.O.A.T signed, came back not authentic. And Jeff did the same thing, emailed them or did the online submission for the quick opinion. That's what they call it, the quick opinion. And his came back authentic. So the card that we know is real came back authentic. The card that we think is not came back not. So if you wanted to know how good they are at what they do, granted, that's a small sample size of 2, but they seem to know what they're doing. So in that process, I also ended up finding a card that I can show you that I know is real. So my Michael Jordan might not be a real autograph, but this one is. And this one is a card that fits into one of my collecting goals. It fits into my baseball Hall of Fame autographed card collection. So it's what I'm trying to do, kind of more of the casual side of things. I'll just kind of pick up items here and there. It's nothing that I'm really going full force into, at least quite yet. And it's something that, due to the expense, I probably will never complete. I don't know that I'll ever get like Mickey Mantle card autographed or Jackie Robinson. Certainly the pre-war guys would be a lot harder and a lot more expensive to get. But some guys like Jeff Carrot and Andrew Jones, the most recent inductees, are pretty reasonable. But anyways, as a kid, I lived and grew up in the Houston area from about 1993 up until we moved up here to the Fargo area about 14 years ago. So for quite a while, I spent time in the Houston area. And of course, being in that area, the Astros, Rockets, and at the time Oilers, and eventually Texans were the big local teams. And when I was a kid, my dad would take me, and if my brothers wanted to go, take them too, but to the big TriStar Sports Collector Convention at the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown Houston. Now, I didn't personally have money at the time, a lot of it at least, because I was under 16 and didn't have a job. So it's whatever money I could come up with from birthday presents, Christmas presents, and doing odd jobs around the house. So I'd go to these shows with not a ton of money, but enough to get something. And every now and then there would be an autographed guest that I would want to get something of. And this year, for some reason, I decided I wanted to get something signed. And I had a limited budget. I don't remember what the amount was, but it was within my budget. And so it was pretty much I went with the best Astros player that at the time I could afford. And at this time, it was their star second baseman named Craig Biggio. Craig Biggio would eventually get into the Baseball Hall of Fame, but at this time, he was just a really good Astro. And here's the card now. I still have it in my collection. It was originally signed in blue ink, but as you can see, that ink is no longer that blue. It's faded quite a bit, and the reason being is that for years, I had this card in one of those cheap little plaques. It's just slightly bigger than the card. You have the plaque background, whatever you want to call that, and then with a faceplate below it, and then a top loader for the card. And so for probably 30 years, actually, yeah, probably about 30 years, because I literally just took this card out of that plaque a couple months ago when I finally found it. And the top loader that the card was in was, of course, completely yellow. But it protected the card enough that it completely didn't fade it, but it did fade the ink a little bit. But anyways, yeah, at the time it was just a good player on the Astros and one that I could afford. But it was one eventually who would have quite a few career accomplishments. Look at my tablet here. We've got 3,000 career hits, all-star selections, I think 7. Franchise records for career games, 2,850 hits, 3,060, runs scored, 1,844, and doubles with 668. So you can see that Craig Biggio not only loved playing second base on defense, he also loved getting there on the bat. But he was a guy that was always well loved and well respected in the Houston area. Was kind of one of those guys who always played the game right, didn't have a big attitude, wasn't too cocky about his play, wasn't necessarily the biggest name nationally, but was well loved in the Houston area. And I believe he set the record for hits by pitch, I think. But yeah, it was a cool experience. And I went with this card in particular, the Topps Gold card from 1992. This wasn't the year that I got it signed, so this was a couple years later, but I remember at the time, eventually Topps Gold would be like a 1 per pack insert, but at the time these were pretty rare to pull. So I went to the show without a card in my possession to get signed. The plan all along was I knew beforehand I was going to get his autograph, but then I didn't have a great card of his that I loved that I wanted to get signed, so I figured I'd go look at the show and just go through singles bins and find what I could. And I got this one, and I got this because I remember these Topps Gold cards were super rare. Not like eventually when 1 per pack or serial number to the year that it was released. I did eventually, or not eventually, I think before that, I did break a box of these 92 Topps and did pull a single Topps Gold out of it. So I thought this was a really cool insert to get signed. I might have paid like $2 or $3 for the card, but it was one I really wanted. It looks great. It's a good card to get signed. A lot of space at the bottom for him to sign without it interfering with his face there. And just a great looking card. Had it in my collection for 30 years now. It was kind of went missing for a bit because as things have been moving around, I haven't necessarily. Once that plaque came off of the wall, I set it aside somewhere and forgot where I set it. But I finally found it. Have another card to add to my Baseball Hall of Fame autographed card collection. And while one of these cards may not be authentically signed, one of these two is, and he's a Baseball Hall of Famer. So it's a great card, one that I have in person, one that has a little bit of a story behind it, and one that's going to go into my bin with the other Hall of Famer autographs. But anyway, that's it for now. Just going to keep you updated on that post from the last post I did about the Michael Jordan TTM. Let you know what I found. And until next time, thanks for watching.